Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, I am going to be getting up to date the Void Legendary rankings because it's been a few months since I've done this, and we've got a lot of new things to the game. We've got Acrisia and just some different things that are changing, like the Baron buff and all of that. So I want to keep this up to date on my channel. So I'm just going to show you the thought process on ranking all of the Void Legendaries in the game on my tier list. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first of all, a couple things. I've got these in alphabetical order, and we're just going to go through and place them S+, S, A, B, and C. So with Void Legendaries, they're typically the best champions in the game because they can't hit weak and they're tougher to acquire and all of that. So we're actually going to have two categories of S. S+, which is like the god tier best champions in the game, and then the S, the champions that are still insanely good. And then we'll scale down. We're not going to go all the way down to F because even the worst Void Legendaries would still technically be decent because they're Void Legendaries, but there are definitely still some that would go towards the bottom there in the C tier. So I'm also just going to be doing this by overall, and I'm going to leave that up to interpretation because obviously everyone has different areas of the game they prioritize more than others, and I plan on having other people do this as well, other content creators, other people in the community, and I'll try at some point to get like an average cumulative score, and then I'll show you on the channel how that compares to how my list ended up shaking out, and then at the end we'll adjust things and move things around. But I'm just going to kind of start, and we're going to walk through these champions in alphabetical order really quick and get them placed. And right out the gate, we've got the new champion in Acrisia. Now, I don't have Acrisia, but she is ridiculously insane. The Hydra is some of the toughest content in the game, and she's a complete game changer there. So I don't see how we can't put her in S+. Just too good. I wish I had her. She is a staple in your Hydra teams and makes those fights a lot easier. And since it's tough content, I've got to put her up there to start with. Angar. Now, Angar is pretty underwhelming. Probably one of those that can start in the C tier. Every Void Legendary can have a use, can be decent. There's going to be somebody in the comment sections that's like, I have so-and-so and they do great in this team and I love my so-and-so champion. And that's true, but when you're doing a tier list, you've got to split hairs and you've got to really get down to the nitty-gritty and really find those tiny differences between champions. And otherwise it would just be boring if you put every champion S+ because they can be useful, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try my best to spread things out evenly, and you're going to have put some decent champions low when you do a tier list like this. Arbiter, we know the drill on Arbiter. Solid champion, definitely a staple in Raid Shadow Legends. We're gonna start right there. Baron is a hot topic because Baron has been really buffed recently. So we'd have like our Void Legendary nukers in, you know, Baron, Ethos, Leorius, Neathway, things like that. And since Baron's gonna be one of the elite ones for sure, I'm probably gonna start right here. We'll probably see a little bit of a side effect of the Baron buff that might affect champions or pseudo nerf them, like an Ethos or something like that. It might push them a little bit down the board, but we're gonna start up there with Baron because we gotta have a nuker high on the tier list, and he is definitely an amazing one. Bellinor, I mean, he's not bad. He can be a good DPS option for Demon Lord and stuff like that. I don't think he's game changing, account changing. I mean, unless you're just, you know, the fact that like Fane exists as an epic champion and Anax and some of these other options that can slot in, I can't really put Bellinor in the A, but he definitely has some utility. We'll put him in the B. Blind Seer. You know, this is a tough one. A lot of people really love Blind Seer, very solid support, reviver, triple hitter, turn meter manipulation, all that type of stuff. We're gonna probably start right there with Blind Seer. I think Cardial is a solid S, game-changing champion. Maybe not the absolute legend, but he's very solid up there with Arbiter. Shogger, again, a kind of similar story to Bellinor. He can crank out damage, he can do some cool things. I don't know that he's really account changing though. Kutraxa, down in that same vein of these Void Legendary damage dealers that can be fun, but again, we're just gonna put her down there. Jinro, you know, if you're not familiar with him, he's a newer one, but he's got a really cool A1, scales with defense, increases the cooldown of random skills of an enemy. Could be fun, could be insanely good in faction wars. Probably put him towards like the top of the BM, maybe somewhere in there to start with. Then we've got Gergo. Now Gergo has an ability similar to Ray. He's gonna strip buffs. He's gonna freeze the enemies. Really strong ability there, but he's so squishy. Doesn't end up seeing a whole lot of play, honestly, even though you think he would with his kit on paper, so I'd probably do something like that. Hegemon is a very cool champion to have. He fills a very cool role that isn't very common in Raid, like where he's guaranteed to go first in the arena and lock people out, can be built to nuke and stuff like that. So I do think he is gonna maintain his solid role, even though he's not great overall. He's definitely a fun game-changing champion when you get him. And then right here, we've got Enithwe. I think Enithwe was a little bit pseudo-nerfed by Baron sliding way up the board. Actually, in our last tier list, or last time that I did this, I believe Baron was dead last. I believe I had Baron at the bottom. So now we're going to see champions like Enithwe and Ethos maybe slide down a little bit. So, I mean, always blocking Revive is fun. We'd probably put him about right there. Ethos is going to be a similar story. He is really cool, can be a great Nightmare campaign farmer and all of that. So I do think he's a little bit more valuable than Enithwe. He can hit harder, do more damage, and I'd probably start up there with Ethos. He's definitely solid. He's not bad or anything. Jingwan is a rough one. Doesn't grade out very well. Full disclosure, I do think he's a little bit better than the community harps on him. Not saying he's god tier or anything. I think he's slightly better than he gets hated on. I think maybe his A3 right here, the strengthen, should go on the whole team. It's a 4-turn cooldown. If it was a 3-turn cooldown, maybe not, but a 4-turn cooldown, the strengthen should go on the entire team. And there's some other slight buffs we could do to him as a champion. Because of that, he is not going to be great. I'm going to definitely put him in the C tier. Probably, you know, I mean, he's pretty similar to Angar. Honestly, can have a use, but is not going to be one of the better Void legendaries. So we'll start right there. I feel like CORSAIR has been power crept a little bit. He was a really fun champion to have for a while. I don't see him really get used much at all anymore. You know, so he's one that used to be like up here in S and then an A and then maybe in B. I don't think he's a C yet. I do still think he has some fun usages, and we're gonna kind of start right here. And I can adjust things at the end as we get all the champions on the board, and I'll talk about the final shifting of champions. Constantin, you know, there's some people out there that swear by him, and he can do a good job out there. You know, I'd consider him similar to Bellinor, somewhere in there. We'll probably go right there. I'm gonna have to start moving champions down to the C tier. We don't want like 12 champions in one tier. Krisk, there's really not a whole lot to say. Krisk is god tier. He's amazing in all content in the game, and you know, maybe been power crept a little bit in the arena, but he's still so amazing everywhere. Hydra, Doom Tower, all sorts of different compositions you want to play with him. He's gonna maintain his role up in S+. Leorius, similar to Baron. I think, which one would you rather have, Baron or Leorius, is going to be a little bit of a debate. Some people probably ending up on both sides. That might be a good poll question on the channel. Which Void nuker would you rather have, Leorius or Baron? I think it'd be pretty close to 50-50. You know, gosh, like, so Leorius can get you there. I'd probably rather have Leorius, because he's got the ability to put the unkillable on himself and really buff up his damage as he takes damage. Baron, a little bit more of your traditional nuker. So I'd probably give Leorius a slight edge there. Little Miss Annie can hit super hard and do some fun things, but yeah, I've got to start putting people in the C tier. So I'm probably going to start putting those niche damage dealers like Little Miss Annie and Krutraxa. They're kind of in a similar vein. So I'm going to since I have to start spreading things out, we're going to start right there with Little Miss Annie. You know, maybe people disagree with me, but I think Lydia is S+. I think she is so awesome. Just so generally useful, kind of like Krisk. Like, any team, put Lydia in there. She just fills so many different roles and is such a cool champion to get for finishing faction wars when you want to just fill in a roster, build a team quick, throw in Lydia there. You can't go wrong. So I think she belongs up there in my opinion. Similar with Mithrala. Gosh, Mithrala is so good. Like, kind of similar to Lydia, I think. We're gonna have to start moving. It gets tough, see, because I can't have too many champions in S plus, and I still have to get to like Siphi and Nekarit and Warlord and and Yumiko. So it's gonna be tough, and we're gonna have to start moving some champions down. But okay, let's go. Nekarit, he's got to be S plus, I would think. Raglan, I'm gonna start trying to go a little bit quickly here so we can start adjusting things. Raglan's similar to Blind Seer, solid support. Raka is going to be a hot take. I think Raka is awesome, but I seem to be in the minority there. People seem to think that she's not good enough. She's a little bit too generalized. I think she's really, really good. I don't think she's the best champion in the game, but I think she's so solid. I'm going to start. I think she's like a budget Duchess almost. So yeah, I'm going to start up there. Ramantu is a fun champion. Doesn't get used as much as I thought he would, but he's definitely really, really good. Probably, yeah, we'll start there. Yeah, Riho. Riho, yeah, I'm gonna probably go like top of A for now. How can you not put Siphi up here? Siphi and yeah, not a whole lot to say other than she's awesome. Sir Nick, probably down in the B tier at this point. Still solid, but Soulless, I'd say similar to Ethos. Go right there. And then Tumasia can be really, really good in the spider, really fun. Because of that, would probably go ahead of Bellinor somewhere around there. Torment, I think, is solidly in the A tier. He's really good at what he does. He's really account changing. He fills a cool role. And for a newer player, would be an insanely impactful pull just for your quality of life of farming Tag Team Arena. Tanarok is awesome for sure. Probably somewhere around there. Turval, he's a great DP. He's going to be similar to like Bellinor. He's great at his role, but isn't going to be some of those god tier Void Legos, which means I got to slide down some of these champions. Neathway, maybe like this. And Jinro like this, maybe something like that. Your Rost can be very fun for like Scarab and stuff like that. He's got definitely a role in the game. Probably somewhere around there. And then Ursaga. I thought Ursaga would be a lot better than she ended up being on paper, but is not seeing as much utility and glory as I thought. So would probably put Ursaga kind of similar to Torment around there. Venus, really solid. Probably similar to Riho, somewhere around there. And then we've got Visix. Visix, again, I think is better than people give her credit for. Probably pretty similar to Sir Nick. Then we've got Vlad, probably around Constantine. We'll put them together. They are a tandem as well in game. Warlord is obviously going to be one of those champions that is right towards the top. And slide him up there. And then we've got Whirlwind. Whirlwind, probably down there. And then we've got Yakarl. He did get buffed, but it wasn't enough, so he's still going to be down here. And then Yumiko obviously goes in the top tier. Okay, so now let me zoom in on this a little bit, and let's start shifting things around to get the final version and try to even these tiers out. Okay, now that they're all on the board, we are ready to rock. By the way, there are 43 Void Legendary Champions. For those of you counting at home, 43 of them to get ranked, which means when we've got 5 tiers, that each one of them is going to have somewhere around 7, 8, 9 champions in them, ideally, if we want to split them up evenly. So, up in the S tier, who do I take down? I mean, how do I take any of these out of S+? This gets really hard. I'm probably, since they're damage dealers, I'm probably going to drop Leorius and Baron down a little bit. We'll put them towards the top up here. I feel pretty decent about that. Who do I slide down from the B tier? Do any of these deserve to go down? Turval might be a little bit too high because he's really only got that one role in the game, but he is awesome at it, so we can kind of put him to the top there. Chogger is a little bit similar, but that tier looks pretty decent. I probably have too many in the S+, but I feel like they're all justified is the thing. Do I slide any up? You know, the list probably should be a little bit top heavy because typically you want the really good ones to stand out a little bit more. Do I feel good about the order of S plus? Krisk for being the best overall champion is probably true, to be honest. Yumiko Sify, Warlord, Lydia, Nekarit probably goes up, similar to Warlord, just a god in the arena. I'd maybe put these ahead of Hegemon, and maybe put a Krizzy down here. Maybe better than Mithrala. Yeah, pretty similar to Lydia probably, but definitely super solid. Some people might disagree with that and want a Krizia higher. Let's see. I mean, I feel pretty good about this so far, honestly. I would like it to be bottom heavy instead of top heavy, but I just can't really take any of these champions out of S plus. Like, Hex is kind of rare, so I don't want to drop down. I don't want to drop down Mithrala. She's so tanky and generally useful. And then we've got like our niche damage dealers and progression type champions here in S. Let's see, if I moved one up, I would almost move up Tormund just because he's kind of an account changer when you do get him. And then down here in A, does anybody deserve to go up? Some people might argue Vlad, some people might argue Tamasia. Sure, I'm going to take Tamasia up just because so good in the Spider, which is a tough dungeon. Might even go ahead of Raglan as just more of a general utility support. Solus and Ethos as kind of our damage dealers for the arena. Venus, so generally useful. Rio, Ursaga. Feel pretty good about that. And I feel pretty good about the B tier now. How about the C tier? Turvald at the top is good. Whirlwind is better than he gets credit for. And then, yeah, I feel mostly okay with that. Maybe Yakarl goes down here closer to Annie, but okay. I got it as even as I think I'm going to get it. I could maybe bring up, I'm going to bring Turvald up a little bit, honestly, because he's so good for some of those damage Demon Lord compositions. I'd probably go around there. That's a little bit more even. So, okay, that is going to be the final, I'm locked in, final answer, and there we go. The Void Legendaries, just in the terms of overall ranking for October of 2022. And I will probably plan a way to wrap it up as we get towards the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023 to get another version of this out there. And we'll probably have a new Void Legendary or some buffs or some changes by then as well. And as always, let me know what you think down below. I love to hear your opinions. I love to hear where I'm right, where I'm wrong, and collect as much data as I can to formulate more accurate opinions the next time I do something like this. So let me have it down below and have fun with letting me know where you agree and disagree. And remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. I'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks. Peace.